Hello, nice to meet you, everybody. I do have another topic for discussion now that I came up with, right? But I do have a question that I would like to ask you, right, from the very beginning. You know what? The question is just like, what do you do if you come across words that you don't know exactly their meaning? What do you do if you come across words that you don't know their meaning while you are reading a text? This is a question for you all. So what are you going to do if you come across words that you don't know their meaning, that you don't know definitely their meaning while you are reading a text, while you are watching movies, while you are listening a listening script? What are you going to do right away to know the meaning, to get the meaning of the word that you don't know its meaning if you come across it? While you are reading or while you are listening, you may have the possibility to come across that words that looks unfamiliar to you. So what's the thing that you gotta do right away? That's very helpful to get the meaning of the words that we come across while we are reading or while we are listening to. The question is for you all. Are you going to look for a dictionary to find out the meaning of the word that you get there? Or what do you do? Just think on it for a while and you'll try to tell me the thing you chose in your mind, right? That's the point. Okay, I do have the reason behind that makes me to ask you such a kind of question to respond it in the way you get it. You know what? I don't expect you all to have the same response for the question that I posed, right? It's gonna be different because the way we think is gonna be the same. It's gonna be different. We guys to have different understanding. We guys to have different perspective with regard to the question that I brought to you is concerned, right? It's gonna be different. You know, the thing that makes me to come with this critical question is that just to tell you what the contextual meaning is all about in vocabulary learning, right? By the way, in the process of vocabulary learning, we are strongly recommended to use the right technique to get the meaning of words that we don't know exactly their meaning while we come up with them, right? While we get them while we are reading or while we are listening to, yeah, probably we may have the chance to come across words that we don't know their meaning. We come across words that we don't know their meaning, that looks very unfamiliar to us. So the only thing that we gotta do right away is becoming contextual. What does contextual meaning mean? It's not all about literal meaning. It's not all about literal meaning. It's all about implied meaning. So what does a contextual meaning? We need to define it from the very beginning because it's very helpful. It's very interesting. If you are trying to put it into action while you are, in the process of vocabulary learning, you need to use this technique as a practical way of learning vocabulary because it's very helpful. It's very helpful because we second language learners, we foreign language learners of English are strongly suggested to use, the contextual meaning technique to learn lots of vocabularies, right? You know what? So what does contextual meaning mean? What does it mean? Does it mean trying to look for the meaning of the word on a dictionary or somewhere else? Or what do you think about it? No, that doesn't mean in that way. You know what? Contextual meaning is trying to guess the meaning of the word that we came across based on the situation, based on the context they have in a sentence, or based on the context they have in a paragraph, and whatever. That's what contextuality is all about, right? So as we all know that a word can have different meaning based on the context. A word can have different meaning based on the situation. That's why we need to understand what the context is all about in order to get the meaning of the word that we came across. Unless you do that, it's very challenging to know their meaning. It's very, 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 very challenging to get the meaning of the word that we came across while we are reading or while we are listening to, right? So we are strongly recommended to be contextual while we are learning the meanings of words. While we are learning vocabulary, we are suggested to be contextual, because it's not possible to you know what, in the process of vocabulary learning, it's completely impossible to have a dictionary to look for the meaning of words that we came across while we are in the process of reading a text and whatever, right? So we need to be contextual, trying to understand what the meaning of the word that we don't know, based on the situation, based on the meaning of the surrounding words, right? Based on the meaning of the neighboring words. So that's very interesting. That's the thing that makes that a word can have different meaning. A word can have different meaning based on the context they have in the sentence, based on the context they have in a paragraph, based on the context they have in an essay as well, right? So always we need to be contextual while we are trying to get the meaning of the words that we don't know their meaning, right? There are lots of words that we may come across while we are reading, while we are listening to. So we don't need to bother about it. We have to try our better way how we can get the meaning of those words based on the situation, based on the context it has, right? That's very interesting. Let me give you one brief example to show you how contextual works well in vocabulary learning, right? The classroom was dead. The classroom was dead. Think that the word dead is a word that you don't know its meaning. So how are you going to get the meaning of the word dead based on the context it has in the sentence? Does it mean not live, dead? The lateral meaning, the dictionary meaning of the word dead is not live. Does it have the same meaning in the sentence that I gave you before? It couldn't be. That's the way how context significantly affects the meaning of the meaning of a word. So it's we need to be technical. We need to be contextual while we are trying to look for the meaning of words that we came across, thinking that we don't know their meaning, right? So we need to be contextual. We need to understand what are the words around, what are the words there in the sentence, because knowing the meaning of some words there in the sentence may help us to guess what the meaning of the central word, what the meaning of the vocabulary word is all about. So those words which are surrounding the vocabulary word can be taken as a clue. They are clues. They are indicators. They may indicate us what the meaning of the vocabulary word is. So clues are very interesting. Clues are very important because they are very helpful to show us what the meaning of the vocabulary word is. That's just an indicator, just like an indicator. They may indicate us, they may help us to guess what the meaning of the single word is all about. So that's what contextuality means. So the classroom was dead. What the word dead is already underlined, and you are asked to get what the meaning of the word is all about. So what do you think is the meaning of the word dead there, based on the context it has in the sentence there? That means quiet. The students are quiet. They are not active participants. The class was dead. That means all the students, those who are attending in the class, are not active in participation. They are silent. They are quiet. That means. You see how context helps us to guess what the meaning of the meaning of the vocabulary word is all about. So we don't need to look for dictionary to find out the meaning of words that we are asked to do so. We need to be contextual. So it doesn't matter if you don't have a dictionary available. You need to be contextual always. That's the best technique that works well in vocabulary learning. So we are strongly recommended to use a contextual meaning in order to get the meaning of the word that we don't know its meaning, thinking that we come across words that we don't know their meaning there in the reading text, in the listening script as well. So that's very interesting. It works well. It works well in vocabulary learning. It works well. That's why. So always while we are learning vocabulary, while we are in the process of learning vocabulary, we don't forget to be contextual. We don't forget to be contextual. We need to have the technique, the strategy of contextuality. That's very helpful. It's very, 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 very helpful to guess the meaning of the word that we are asked to guess, that we are asked to look for. So that's very interesting. So always you don't forget to be contextual while you are trying your best to get the meaning of the word that you don't know its meaning, thinking that you come across them while you are reading or while you are listening and whatever. That's very interesting. You know, so contextuality is the best technique that we all are recommended in order to accomplish the things that we are asked to do. So with regard to vocabulary learning, right? It works well. By the way, vocabulary by itself plays its part to make our communication better. If you are rich in vocabulary, we can have a convenient kind of communication with somebody else. We can have an effective kind of communication with somebody else, because that's the thing that we are expected to do. So that's the thing. We must be rich in vocabulary. We have to know the meanings of lots of. We have to have lots of words in our mind, because that makes the communication learning process easier as it's expected to do so, right? So how is it possible to be good at vocabulary? How we can learn vocabulary in an easiest way? By becoming contextual, right? By becoming contextually, trying to find out the meaning of the word that you don't know its meaning based on the context and the sentence and whatever, in the paragraph and whatever it is, right? So contextuality is the best technique that we have to use all the time while we are trying to learn vocabulary, while we are trying to learn the meanings of different words, right? That's very interesting. So it's all about vocabulary learning and the role of contextuality for making our vocabulary learning easier. That makes it very easy. That makes it very easy. That makes vocabulary learning very easy. If you are contextual, if you are just trying to use that kind of technique in our everyday vocabulary learning progress, that's very helpful. We can be rich in vocabulary. We can be rich in words, and that makes our communication easy, right? That makes our communication. If you don't have lots of words in our mind, we all are not expected to have a meaningful conversation. We are not expected to have an effective kind of communication with whom we are trying to have a communication ways, right? That's very interesting. So contextuality, contextual way of guessing meanings of words that you don't know their meaning, that we don't know exactly their meaning, is the one that's too much recommendable. And we always are expected to put into action the technique that we have dealt with, because that's very helpful to do so. That's very helpful to be good at vocabulary. Interesting time. I appreciate you all for the time you had here. Thank you very much indeed. Next time I will come up with another topic for discussion. Till then, I wish you all the best.